So let's talk about a flip platform. A platform that we can actually hold potential candidates maybe accountable to. Okay? We have another acronym. FIX, as in control. I needed an F. Fix the size of government. We propose that the size of the federal government be fixed, i.e. limited, to never exceed, I'm sure some of you want it to be 2%. We're going to start with a proposal of 20% of the prior year's gross domestic product. Listen, it's all about following the money. I love the balanced budget amendment as an ideal, but the reality is, if we had a balanced budget amendment right now, you know how high our taxes would be? We'd be paying 80% in taxes. So what we need to do is limit the amount of money that the government can spend. Let's specifically limit how much they get. Let's give them an allowance. Does that make sense? L, limit the power of taxation. We must limit the power of taxation in this country. The founding fathers would have revolted long ago. We've been asleep at the wheel. Federal taxation is excessive in its amount and oppressive in its scheme. It's not just the amount, it's the scheme. It's time for one consolidated federal tax that is not hidden and every American can understand. If we had one clear tax, I like the fair tax, but I'm open to other proposals. If we can have one clear tax, and that's how I would encourage you to be open-minded about that. Let's insist on one clear tax, because then, if they want to raise that tax, it's a national referendum. Everybody knows it. Everybody's engaged. It's not hidden in secrecy of global warming fees and all the other stuff that they're doing now. Limit the power of taxation, and then I impose term limits. You know, we talk about term limits, and we all try to be nice. It's time to impose term limits. The era of and now some of you might not like these big numbers I'm throwing out there. The era of institutional politicians must end. And let me humbly propose to you that service in Congress be limited to 12 years in either House or Senate, or 18 years total. Okay? We don't need to ask of any American to serve more than 12 years in the House or 12 years in the Senate. I see a young family over here with 4 young children, I believe. I've got 5 young children. We don't need anybody to give up 50 years of their lives, 40 years of their lives, 30 years of their lives. At the most, 12 and maybe 18. If you're really good, you can serve 18 years. Okay? We have to impose term limits, and then we must purge socialism. It's time to purge our nation of its socialist appetite and return the nationalized businesses and industries. Do you realize what's happening in our country? We're nationalizing entire sectors of our economy. And now we're going to have a debate about whether to nationalize 17% of the economy, which is healthcare, and basically the entire energy sector. If we nationalize the 17%, which is healthcare, then more than 50% of the American people, are you ready for this, will earn their living through the government. Wow. You reach a tipping point. You reach a tipping point. If more than half the people are getting, they will never vote for a decrease in government, because that means a decrease in their pay. This is the hour right now. We have to stop these two incredible expansions, and then we can roll it back and start purging socialism. We'll start with whatever Obama's doing and the Congress is doing now, but we're not going to end there, because it didn't start with Obama. There's another guy, his predecessor, who did a pretty good job of doing this last year, too. Okay? And we can go back and back and back. Maybe someday we'll even get to the education system. We have a socialized education system. But we won't start there. We'll work backwards. But we will start with the principle and a platform. And we will ask anyone who wants to run for office, are you committed to fixing the size of government? Are you committed to limiting government, limiting the taxation? Are you committed to imposing term limits? And are you committed to purging socialism? We need to take this out of the rhetoric of left versus right, Republican versus Democrat. This is about ideas that I would offer you the vast majority of your neighbors would agree on. And many of the politicians, you'd be surprised, would agree with these ideals. So that's where we are proposing that we start to head. So the principles: free markets, limited government, individual family liberties, and private property. The platform: fix the size of government, limit the power of taxation, impose term limits, and purge socialism. So let me ask you, are you guys ready? Are you ready to flip this house? We've got a website, flipthishouse2010.com, where all this information is posted, and that's where we're going to start.